There's a great article, a great post today on LinkedIn by Mark Fields. He's the Chief Executive Officer of Ford Motor Company. And this article is about Ford's full road to full recovery with autonomy with cars. Essentially, what he's saying is that by the beginning of 2021, Ford will mass produce autonomous, driverless cars. This is a massive change, and it's a result of some new technologies and the knowledge around building these new technologies to transform Ford. This article really resonated with me because for many years I've been trying to do my best to communicate the importance of strategic knowledge assets in particular, how they can make the biggest difference to transforming an organization, or if not transforming, the biggest difference to helping an organization achieve its objectives faster or even exceed them. But he is saying that this will transform Ford's future. What he says is that what Ford have been doing in the past is concentrating, like many other automobile manufacturers, on trying to improve their products through incremental change. And of course this is extremely important to continue to do. To continually improve by learning and improving the way we do things. Many would call this good quality management, continuous improvement, Kaizen. That is extremely valuable, but that is not going to create the big transformation that he is now saying Ford's will take a lead and drive forward this new technology. What he's saying is, in addition to the need to do this continual improvement, Fords have developed a top-down technological plan to re-engineer cars in a radically and fundamentally new way to make them autonomous, driverless. Now, I guess some of that knowledge has come from as a result of operational knowledge continuously improving, but it also comes from a different perspective, a different mindset. And so what he is saying in this article is that Fords are having both a driving top-down plan with technological knowledge and ability and competence to mass produce driverless cars by the beginning of 2021, on the one hand, as well as continue with the continuous improvement. This is what knowledge asset management, to my mind, has always been about. Knowledge asset management has a methodology with three distinct parts. The first part is planning. Top-down strategic planning, identifying what are the key knowledge assets that will make the biggest difference, and planning for their development linked to the corporate objectives, or even possibly transforming the corporate objectives. This is strategic thinking at its best. It's strategic thinking looking at knowledge as a critical, key, transformative asset that will make a huge difference. This is what he's saying in his article. That the top-down approach, which is in our case step one, or stage one rather, of knowledge asset management methodology, is to identify and to develop these key knowledge assets to transform for the future. Our stage 2 is also an audit. It's an audit of the current business processes and how we can embed knowledge and better knowledge management tools and techniques to improve or to leverage the knowledge in the business processes. Yes, it also looks at knowledge networks of people, of teams, of collaborative teams, co-creative teams, communities of practice, and how the knowledge can be leveraged in these networks of people. And it looks at the technologies that are available today and how we can leverage the knowledge with the technologies. And in each of those three, what we call audit pairs, not only do we improve, but at the same time we identify, as we're looking at processes and people and technology, the key knowledge assets within that process, within that network, within the technologies, and how they are also interrelated, not separate, and interdependent on one another. But most importantly, we identify gradually, as we do stage 2, the key knowledge assets, and we add them to our knowledge asset directory. And because we've worked out ways to measure these assets, we can measure and monitor and report on them. And so stage 1 is top down, looking at knowledge as a strategic asset. Stage 2 may be more looking at the operationals that exist, but still trying to continuously improve the operations through the better usage and identification of knowledge assets. And stage 3 is where we implement this across the enterprise and report on this and better manage the knowledge assets. And so I think the article today by Mark Fields in Forbes is saying that for a while they've been working on what we'd call stage 2, improving the operations, incremental improvements, continuous improvements, which is excellent and must continue to do. But the breakthrough, the transformation of Forbes, the big difference will occur because they have developed a top-down technological engineering plan which will transform the way we drive cars. In fact, that's incorrect. It will transform us to a stage that we don't have to drive cars. They're driverless by the beginning of 2021. So this is a very comforting article for me, and I would recommend that you read it, published August the 16th by Mark Field, Chief Executive Officer of Ford Motor Company, in how this is going to transform Ford for the future by looking, in essence, the way that we view it as knowledge management and knowledge asset management practitioners, by identifying and developing a top-down strategic plan to develop knowledge assets that will transform, together with continuously improve in stage 2 and identify the knowledge assets that occur there, so that we can develop a knowledge asset directory which shows overall the way we as an organization are managing our knowledge assets, both strategic and operational.